It is amazing how often we take the failures that we have in our life, and we pull them in and make them our identity. Like, this is who I am. And we engage in tearing our self-worth down, and we self-sabotage, and our talk that we give to ourselves, that inner dialogue, and how negative it is. And sometimes it is an inner dialogue. We be on the job site, we be at work, we be at home, and the things we say to ourselves, man. If you heard an adult speaking to a child that way, you would condemn that adult, say you can't speak to a child that way. And if we saw somebody in this grocery store talk to a stranger that way, we would condemn it too. Yo, boss. The mistakes that we make is not who we are. And we have got to stop talking to ourselves the way we would condemn others talking to others. You wouldn't speak that way to a stranger. You did make a mistake. We failed, man. We screwed up. Okay. And we got to own that, and we got to know what that is. But it's not all of who we are. I am my father's son. I am my mother's son. I am my sister's brother. That's a part of who I am. And this man, who is a son and a brother, failed at this thing. I got it wrong. In fact, it was my own decision. I made the wrong decision. But did I do anything right? Yes. Yes, I did. I didn't cheat. I didn't lie. I didn't hunt for shortcuts so I could get a benefit without having to put in the true work and take away from others and steal. I did things right. I got this wrong. This self-talk that we do, we've got to change that, because I'm going to argue this is sabotaging our dreams, sabotaging our future. This self-sabotage, the quit before the fail. We're so convinced that we're going to crash and burn that we quit before that takes place. We're so convinced that someone's going to attack us that we quit before they can. I remember this in school, where I would shy away from social interaction because I was so afraid that the kids would bully me. And so I would shy away, and then the true bullies would find that shy away kid and you'd come and attack. I would self-sabotage those relationships that I could have had in fear. And I believed myself to be a failure. I believed myself to be a loser. Not that I lost, but that I am a loser. Man, we can't talk like this. And if this was your childhood, change these words. Change these memories. Change the words the memories give you. Change the input the memories give you. Here right now. No, you are not a loser. No, you are not a failure. Hear those words. Yeah, maybe it sounds fake. It is not fake. You're not a loser. You're not a failure. You have lost. You have failed. But because that's not a part of who you are, that means it can be changed. I can never change who my father was. I can never change who my mother was. I cannot change the shade of my skin. This is a part of who I am. I can never change those things. But the mistakes I make, that's not who I am. I can change my actions. I can change my habits. I can change. I can change the outcomes based on the input that I do. Hear me. Let's go on with this further, this negative self-talk, which sabotages our future and undermines our self-worth. So hear more. You are a good thing. Absolutely. You got it wrong. Remember when you were learning how to drive and you tried to lane change, you cut off the driver behind you because you failed to shoulder check? You didn't mean to cut that guy off. He gave you the bird and cussed you out, right? And you felt horrible, felt like you wanted to be about that big and just hide away. But actually, it was just a mistake, an honest mistake. You're still a valuable thing. You're still a good thing. You're still a person, a valuable person. I say the reason why I say good thing is that in some ways there seems to be like this narrative that I've been hearing, which tells, like humans are a parasite on the earth. Humans are destroying the earth. Humans are doing all these terrible things. And you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, I'm a human, so I must be a part of it. No, you as a human are a good thing. No, there is not too many of you. No, you are not a drain. You're a valuable, good, wonderful thing. I can hear the doubt in those words. So I know when I'm feeling horrible, like when I'm feeling really down and someone comes along super positive, it's like, man, yes, we made mistakes. Yes, we got things wrong. Yes, we need to do better. But we cannot think that those mistakes are so much are me. It's not you. It's not you. You are a valuable, important, good thing. You matter. For real, you actually matter. For real. And when somebody mistreats you, you are a valuable thing that is being treated as though it's not valuable. And that is a lie. And that's why it's wrong. And when you treat yourself like you're not a valuable thing, you are engaging in a lie. You are a good thing. You are a valuable thing. And dadgummit, you freaking matter because you're a valuable thing. When we make mistakes, right? Go back to that, make a lane change and you cut the guy off by accident. Okay? Okay. Identify what you did right, though. Did you signal? Yes. Did you stay in your lane while you were trying to check things out? You totally cut the guy off. We're acknowledging that. But what did you do right? Did you move over into the lane where you're at least supposed to go so you can make the turn and not do a, right-hand turn from a left-hand lane kind of routine? Yeah, you did all those things. So identify what you did right so that you can repeat what you did right, that you did correct. You can repeat that. Okay, now that you got that figured out, then the mistake was I should have shoulder checked and checked behind me to make sure the space that I wanted to get into was available, was not either being like somebody else was vying for that space or somebody's already in it. That's okay, I got to make that correction. So a signal, okay, and a shoulder check. Oh, somebody wants it. Okay, I'll wait, check my mirror, check my shoulder, okay. And they're going to drive past me, and then I'll go behind them. Boom, correction made. Because I'm not a failure. I'm not a mistake. I'm not a bad thing. I made a mistake. I did fail, and I'm going to correct that. I'm going to freaking learn from that. In fact, this is where I am absolutely convinced that the bad things that we have done and the bad things that have been done to us can be tools. Tools to make the future better, to make our situation better, to make today better. You are not your mistakes. Your mistakes are just something. Your mistakes are just something that you did. So yes, it is to be owned, but owned in action, not in identity. That self-talk, that negative self-talk, use that self-talk to identify what was done wrong, but also to identify what was done right so you can put the mistake, the failure in its correct place, and then come up with strategies on how to fix it. It's making a bad lane change is, I guess I get it. It's a simple thing. That's an easier fix. And I screwed up my marriage. Okay. But the same principle would apply. What did you do correct in your marriage? What did you do? Did you at least show up to the wedding? Hot dog, you did. Good. I'm not teasing. I'm not playing. You did. You actually showed up to the wedding. You were there. You were polite to the to your future mother-in-law. You're polite to your future father-in-law. You did things right. Identify those things so that when you come to identify the actual error, it's like, oh, now I see the error. Now I see what I need to do. And then acknowledge those things you got right. So when you're acknowledging what you did wrong, it's not out of balance and turning into just horrible toxic self-talk. Now, that word toxic gets overused. I know it does. But in this context, I think it works, right? That, yeah, balance out how we talk to ourselves. And let's acknowledge what we did right so we don't get overwhelmed with what we did wrong and start thinking that that's all who we are. Boss, you're capable. You've got some great value to offer the world around you. And you are a good thing. And I'm glad that you exist. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.